Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for London Clubs Carnage once again. Big up your damn selves in the building. Joined by the cast and crew. I got to start with Lawless. I see him battling, fending off, arguing with West Ham fans on the TL. That's right. I see you. I see you, bro. I'm probably going to start with you because obviously you're the only one to drop points this weekend as well. But we'll get into that in a minute. How you doing? More contentious drama decisions at St. Mary's. Another West Ham game goes by. Balancing out the books. I said it.
Yeah, more contentious decisions, more contentious West Ham fans. That I don't know, man. I say I'm not gonna respond. I say, yeah, just ignore people. But you know when you're in one of them moods and you just like.
I mean, David Moyes is the best West Ham manager ever, according to some.
Apparently, he's our greatest manager of all time. You know. Shocking. This is the level of West Ham fans I'm dealing with. So yeah, that's been fun.
Yeah, bloody hell. Tobs, how you feeling, bro? Another win. You man, I'm just going about your business, doing your thing. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm just busy, but good. Very good, very good, very good. Happy.
Yeah, and Potts as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Just about escaped with a win against, who was it in the Europa League before the Leeds game?
Oh yeah, Bodo and Glimt, and then Leeds. Yeah. It's been poor, man. It's about as bad as this heartburn I've got, man. I'm honestly out of breath. It's worst heartburn I've ever had, man. I feel like I've run a London marathon. Mad.
Poor you. You had to play. Poor you. You had to play 2 away games in a row. Wow. Poor you.
It was hard, man.
Did you go to the game? Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't go to either. I didn't go to Norway, and I didn't bother with tickets for the Leeds one. I went there last year, and I had bits to do beforehand, so I was never going to get up there in time. But yeah, man, it was a struggle. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a weird week at the Arsenal, but somehow we've won twice. So when Spurs do that, it's all good. So we're all good as well.
Yeah, we managed to win as well. Just by the skin of our teeth, it seems, just like you guys, we were, in a different way, probably more so suffering. I didn't get to watch the Arsenal game, but we suffered for large parts of that game against Aston Villa. We were lucky to get out of there alive with 3 points as well. So it seems like a weekend where you just had to just get your 3 points and go home. Unless you were West Ham, you man obviously were denied that. I got to start with you, bro, because I see the wars online. I'm intrigued. I'm puzzled almost. What's going on? Is this Moyes out brigade getting stronger? I don't understand what's going on, bro.
It's funny. By the way, I will say this. Obviously, West Ham, the only team not to pick up 3 points, were probably the most deserving of 3 points out of all the teams here. I will say that. But it's not even Moyes out thing. I'm not even looking at that result and going mad like, oh my God, we didn't beat Southampton. It's poor result. We'll get into the factors in a minute. It's just this, like I call it, this cult section of the fan base that you can't allow you to criticize Moyes in any of his decisions. The minute you say something against him, something that he's done wrong, they're on your case. They get talking about, the last two seasons. Great, they were good. I'm interested in this season. I'm interested in what happens this season. Those seasons are great. So I said in the group chat, people act like he's Arsene Wenger. Look at everything he's done for us. How can you? It's like, what? He's given us a couple of good seasons. Like, what do you mean everything he's done? He's not above criticism. If he won the Europa League, boy, he can do what he wants, mate. You know what I mean? But he didn't. So if he's playing players that, in my opinion, shouldn't be playing, or not playing players, in my opinion, he should be playing, I'm going to say that. You can disagree with me or not. That's up to you. But it's my opinion. That's what football is. It's about opinions. What are we doing here today? But the people just get so offended and so in their feelings if you just say anything about the manager. I've never said once never tweeted out, never said on YouTube or anything, Moyes out. Never said anything really personal about him. I admit.
Isn't the point that you're constantly on his back though? That's the point that's being made.
It's not about being
you do. I feel like. And I'm guilty of it too, because I know what it looks like. I was the same with Mourinho. When you don't really believe wholeheartedly in what a manager's doing, it doesn't take much for the manager.
I hear that. I hear
Doesn't
that.
take
I've been
much-
guilty of that with
doesn't take
Arteta.
much for the manager for you. It doesn't take much for the manager to do for you to basically have a grievance. And I think Moyes is always walking on a sort of tightrope with you. And it was the same with me for Jose. So
potentially, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. I want to like David Moyes. But to me, it's so hard to like him. As just forget about everything he does, you know, everything he's achieved, our finishes and that. Just liking him, just warming to the guy. It's something about him. Like, he's such a dour, miserable bloke. Like, the amount of times I've seen us score, especially Ben Rama, yeah.
It's getting personal.
Yeah, no, but this is how it makes me feel. I see us play. Ben Rama scoring goals and shit, and he's not even celebrating. He's looking miserable. He looks like someone's shouting his birthday cake. Like, honestly, and it just makes it hard to warm to him. You know, I look at Slaven Bilic, and Moyes has done better than Bilic has done overall. Sam Bilic was a really likable guy, so you warm to him more. You know, Big Sam done really good for West Ham, but he was a very unlikable bloke. He was really unlikable. His football was unlikable. So West Ham fans were on his back constantly. But when you look at the job he done, people say, "Oh, everything Moyes done for us." Big Sam got us promoted and stabilized us in the Prem. But we don't give him.
The difference is though. The difference is though is look, I understand your frustration with Moyes. I do, because I've said it on here before. Why not play your best team? Why? What's it all about with Ben Rama? Why did he not play Skamaka now that he's playing well? What's all that about? Now that he's starting to do that, I understand there's some frustration around certain mismanagement of players. I get that because I've seen that at the Arsenal, right? But you have to look in the Premier League, and I can only talk about Premier League from what I remember. And he is probably one of your best managers that West Ham have had. You've got to a European semi-final. You've qualified for the European Conference League. You've got into talking about qualifying for top 4, top 6 in those discussions, even though some people didn't believe you were going to get it. You're in those discussions. I don't know another manager that could 100% say that they've put you in those discussions. And I think Moyes deserves credit for that. So I get why some West Ham fans like him. I also understand, and I believe this with every manager, that managers can be criticised. And I had this last season and the season before. Oh, we've blew top 4. Don't get on his back. He's the one. Okay, well, he's just messed it up for us. Don't get on his back. You hate the manager. You can't stand him. And I think that's now what you're getting from some of these West Ham fans. That ain't the case. We don't hate the manager of the football club. But you can question it. You can question the manager. Do you know what I mean? You can question the manager. It's not a crime to do that. If something don't go right and you have an opinion that you believe that he's getting something wrong, excuse me, like Conte at times has done with Tottenham, you can have an opinion to criticise. What is the problem with that? I don't get it.
I don't get it. I've said Moyes has done a good job, and I've said at the moment he's probably the best person to take us forward right now, and I can't, you know.
Seems like he's on a ticking time bomb with you, though, isn't he?
Yeah, well, so sort of assessed it. It's hard when you know, like I said, that you don't really like someone, and he's frustrating. He can be a very frustrating manager.
What did you not like from this game, though? Because I mean, Southampton, I think 5 defeats in the last 5 before this game, or maybe 4 defeats in a row. I'm not sure. They were in tragic form. They're in the relegation zone even still with this, so it's not really made anything better for them. But they did get the point. You guys look like, I mean, I didn't get to watch it, but statistically, it looks like as if you guys at least put up a serious fight to try and win the game. You created a lot of chances from what I can see in the highlights. What did you not like about the setup? Because you played that famous 3-4-3, no Kostic. It was more Emerson, Palmieri. How did it go?
Yeah. No, I didn't, and I didn't like the setup from the start. A lot of, you know, you may think, okay, well, we had like a lot of centre backs out, so they've had to just have like pad the back with full backs.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like a reason, but I still feel we could have gone a bit more on the front foot. Like a lot of our chances, when you really look at it, that's what I've said. Like, was Skamaka and Paqueta taking shots from distance? It weren't like we were threading like good little passes into the box and really testing the keeper. They had more shots on target than we did. They had doubled the shots on target that we had. They tested our keeper more than we tested theirs. When you look at it, and so that when it comes to, you know, people want to talk about XG and chances, when you actually watch the match, like it was just the fact of like Skamaka's like, well, he likes to shoot a shot from distance anyway. I mean, he was brilliant. He just didn't get his goal. Could not find the target. So I just think the setup was wrong. I think Souček starting, he's still starting. Good defensively again, still not great going forward. His poor clearance led to the ridiculousness that resulted in their goal. Also, I have to look at Antonio coming on as late as he did. Like Moyes making these like last minute subs. Like you're bringing on subs like around about the 90th minute when the players got no time to impact the game at all. Like it's just pointless.
I hate stuff like that.
Why? Like we're chasing trying to win the game, and you're bringing on an attacker late. Bowen was poor, so you like throughout the game. So you could have made that change a lot earlier. Give Antonio time to make an impact, but you don't. You leave it right to the end when essentially he's not going to have time to warm up and do anything. And he's been doing that a few times this season. He brought on Emerson when it was like a minute left to play. He brought on Downs similar time. Things like this, it's those things that really make it difficult for me.
Is the context not that you obviously, I mean, you had Anderlecht in midweek, you beat them 2-1 slender. You got a little bit of a centre-back crisis as well, because I'm not seeing, Zuma. I'm not seeing, your new signing. We're still waiting from him, from Lyon. He had to play fullbacks at wide centre-back positions in the back three. Do you feel like he should be cut a little bit of slack with the amount of fixtures you've got, and then obviously the kind of injury crisis at the back that kind of forced him to maybe play that formation? Because are you suggesting that you would have rather see maybe Ben Johnson at centre back in this game, or Kufau? Like what would you have preferred? Because it looked like as if he had his hands tied with the formation a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a Ben Johnson and Kerr centre back pairing, or a Ben Johnson and Creswell centre back pairing. And
really,
Kerr and Creswell centre back pairing, and Johnson on the left and Sufal on the right, something like that.
Is Creswell good enough to defend at centre back? I don't think he is. Is he?
Not really, but like you said, look, and he does get some slack because of the injury crisis. But still, I think I would like to see us flex our attacking muscles a lot more and outscore our opponents. Fabianski had a great game. He was saving it, nearly everything they threw at him apart from that deflected goal. So look, he does get slack for how we set up at the back, but again, it's just that in-game management that frustrates me. So yeah, like that, those things I'm gonna criticize. But the result, the draw in the grand scheme of things, I can't say, oh, Moyes and blame him. The fixture pile up. Look, we've spent money. We've spent money to increase the squad depth. It's Moyes needs to start rotating a bit more and giving certain players chances. We're getting over the line, but rotate a bit more. Like I said, the £170 million spend is going to be on Moyes' neck. You've been backed now. So we're going to be looking at that. And the same excuses you had last season ain't going to wash this season. So it's just a poor point to drop, considering we've got Anfield next to go to. Then we've got Bournemouth, which we should be winning. And then we got Old Trafford to go to, which, is another one that's tough. So, yeah, that's what's frustrating. But, yeah, the game, look, we should have won that game. Referee performance, man.
Talk to me, man.
Oh, my God.
Let this be your therapy. What happened this time? I feel like every single weekend we go through controversy with West Ham and refereeing decisions. So
it's just getting ridiculous. And it weren't even just like the West Ham game this weekend. Obviously, we're going to talk about Arsenal. Man United should have had a blatant penalty, things like that. But our one was absolutely egregious. The referee there, like I said, Souček makes an absolute awful clearance. There's an argument about potential foul throw in the build-up, but some discrepancy over the actual rules and how far his foot was, over the line. Did it clear the line? Was he still touching the line? Potential foul throw. But the ref, and I put the picture in the group chat, actually blocks Bowen from getting to the ball. So the Southampton player reaches the ball, shoots, deflects off one of our defenders and goes in the back of the net. And the ref lets it go, doesn't blow up for a drop ball. Like as soon as he realized, I've interfered with play here. And the goal stands. Like, what are you doing? Like, as a referee, your awareness should be up that you don't get into those situations. You should not be blocking players from defending.
Yeah.
It's shocking. Like, how are you doing that? And if you do it, mistakes happen.
You got
make
to
sure that shit don't resolve in a goal again. Like, he literally, like, he was playing.
Stop Bone from making the tackle.
Yeah, it literally did. Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Lanzini's goal against Spurs, the 3-3. But it wasn't the ref, intercepting one of their players. It was one of our players sort of getting in their way and preventing them from getting to the ball. And then Lanzini comes and scores. It was so similar to that goal, except the ref basically does what one of our players did for us and interferes with the ball. So stuff like that, you can talk about decisions and subjectiveness, but that is blatant. Then we should have had a penalty. One of their players rugby tackles Souček in the box. Nothing really reviewed, nothing given. The guy had a nightmare, and I'm just tired of them getting away with it, not being punished, not being sacked. I say this time and time again. We all in our jobs, if we keep making mistakes, they're going to look at us and go, yeah, do you know what? Maybe you're not quite good enough for this job. We're going to have to let you go. You're not up to the standards that we require. But referees can have howler after howler every time and keep coming back and keep being allowed to impact these games that have massive stakes to them. The cost that is and the amount of money that's pumped into these games and what's at stake, literally, European qualification and things like that. It's a joke, man. And we have all the technology in the world, and all it's done is expose them. It hasn't helped them, it's exposed them. So yeah, man, I'm tired of it, to be honest. But I'm like I said, look, that's horrendous, but it doesn't make me feel like, oh, do you know what? Like, we were really good and we were just robbed. Like, we had our issues in that game. So, yeah, it's frustrating. But, Anfield, it's only Anfield,
I mean, I don't know if anybody else gives you a prayer at Anfield, Potts, Tobes. I mean, they're actually starting to, back to probably 3 games in a row now, they've actually played well. Obviously, you saw the start of it, maybe Potts at the Emirates, and then obviously now they're beating Man City, they're beating Rangers. Do you give West Ham a prayer at Anfield, really?
To be fair, West Ham have actually put in some good performances. Probably, I think the last 2 times I've watched them at Anfield, they've actually been quite impressive and made Liverpool sort of work for that victory. I think Liverpool only beat them 2-1 last season, and I think it was 1-1 the season before, something like that. I can't even remember. But no, I think Liverpool at home at Anfield, I would back them to beat West Ham, in my opinion. It depends on the injuries, though, because I think obviously Jota, he's not going to be playing for a while. Diaz is already injured, but I still
Robertson as well. Robertson was
injured.
Yeah, did you not see him? I think it was Robertson. Was it Robertson who had the bad injury against City at the end?
No, that was Jota.
That was Jota. Yeah.
So, wait, listen, Nunes is going to have to rise it, but I can't go against Liverpool at home to West Ham. I just can't. So I'm going to go for a Liverpool win.
The only thing I think that gives me slight hope, and like you said, like we haven't been terrible there. It's just our inability to get it over the line, get a result over the line. The best I can hope for is a draw. I can't say it's winning, but what gives me a bit of hope is, how much that game against Man City, probably took a toll on them. Massively intense game, and I'm just hoping that there's some tired legs. That's all I can hope for. Klopp shouldn't be there. Shouldn't be on the touchline. He got a red card, but they're like, nah, Klopp, you can go and stand on the touchline.
You're 2 points behind them. So with everything being said about obviously your start to the season in the last couple of games, you've picked up a bit of form. In this league right now, of how tight it is, it only takes a couple games win, and suddenly all of this like heavy debate about Moyes will go away. If it's only results based and it's not about the actual football, which is a whole wider issue. But this
is why I said, though, didn't I say after the Wolves and the Fulham game, I weren't ready to, say, everything's changed. We've turned a corner, all of this stuff. I wanted to see that, week to week progression. And so to me, I'm still on the fence. and like I still was after those results, and they didn't change it. I want to see us go out and perform against good opposition, but not just perform. Get these results on the line. Yes, we played well against Chelsea, didn't get a result over the line. Played well against Spurs, well in the second half. To be fair, same with Chelsea. Really, both, you know, played half a game good, but didn't get the win over the line. I want to see us beat good opposition this season. We've spent the money. Yes, it takes time, but we're in midway October now. Like, come on, let's start see this bear fruit. Let's try something, boys. Come on, give Flynn Downs a chance. He's like, honestly,
I don't know how good Downs is because I've not really got to see him at all. But
he's been our best player in Europe.
Yeah, well, it's tough because managers tend to go over experience in these times, especially when the form's been up and down. I think Flynn Downs is 20 years old, isn't he? So it doesn't really surprise me that he's 23.
Yeah, 23, same age as Rice. I think he's a few
okay, so that's not too bad then. But I want to move on to Tottenham as well because you guys got Man United next. You won against Everton. I think everybody kind of predicted it would be a boring game. I didn't actually get to watch it, so I have no idea whether it was entertaining or not. I'm not going to assume, but it looks like you guys peppered them. But still no Spence. You know, even when Emerson Royale's out, no Spence. But I don't know how much that bothers you if Doherty had a good end to the campaign last year. And then obviously, was it last year? He had a good, I think he had a good end to the campaign last year. And obviously,
before he got injured,
yeah, and he plays at the weekend. So I mean, I'm starting to think Spence could go out on loan the way this is going.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll play. Eventually, he will play Spence. He's just very, very stubborn and really has this weird affinity to shit players. But I think once Jed Spence gets the chance to actually impress Conte, he's just got to take it because Antonio Conte is a stubborn manager and you almost have to sort of force feed him. You have to force feed him. You have to force feed yourself as the solution to Conte. And the way he's speaking about Jed Spence, the way he spoke about Jed Spence on the Friday is progress from the way he spoke about Jed Spence the other time. So for me, I think, unfortunately, Jed Spence is just going to have to be patient and suck up playing second fiddle to poor players because eventually he will get his opening and it's all about just taking a chance. But on the game itself, I had no doubts whatsoever Spurs were going to pick up 3 points.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less about people talking about boring. I don't care, honestly. Why do I give two shits about other people's opinions on our team if I'm enjoying it? Like, I don't get it. Like, are
you enjoying it, or is it just you pick up the 3 points? I'm
tired of answering this question every week. Why would I not be enjoying it? If when we've played bad, I've come on here and said we've played bad, but how you can watch that game on the weekend and tell me that Spurs were bad or Spurs were an eyesore or this, that, and the third? It made no sense. Everton were the ones that sat deep. We were the ones that were trying to press. We were the ones that had the game for the majority of the match in Everton's half. We were the one that had 21 attempts on goal. We were the one that created like three clear-cut chances. So I'm not really sure what it is that we have to do. What it is that we have to do to pass this weird criteria of, like you have to play. I don't care, bro. Is my team doing enough to win the game of football? If the answer is yes, happy days. Happy days. So for me, I knew we were going to beat Everton. The only gripe I had with the Everton game was our lack of incision in the first half, despite our dominance, and the fact that we gave away 2 really good chances to Everton because they only had 4 attempts the whole game, and 2 of them were because of our own doing. Gifting opposition chances like that. You're not always going to play a team as shit as Everton. Eventually, one of those teams are going to take that opportunity. And not for the first time, not for the second time. Spurs have been burnt like that in the past where we give teams an opening and they'll just take it and score. But yeah, there was no doubts whatsoever that we were going to win that game. Everton tried. They tried to disturb it. They tried to disturb us. They tried to park the bus, but eventually,
you know what I've seen from Everton fans, right? And I'll get your take on this. People would be surprised my thoughts on this because a lot of Everton fans have said they were robbed. Basically, I've seen this all over. I was like, so many Everton fans they were robbed because of the penalty changed the game. They're saying Kane dived, it wasn't a penalty. They've been robbed. Yeah. Like if it weren't for the penalty, you know, they were good for.
How about blame Damari Gray and Onana for missing 2 sitters? How about start there?
I think it was a penalty. I think it was
blame Pickford.
Yeah, I think I think Kane makes a meal of it, but I've watched it quite a few times, and to me, it's a penalty because Pickford comes, diving out. He doesn't get a touch on the ball at all, and he's clearly obstructing Kane. Like Kane's running in, he throws himself into Kane's path, and Kane obviously is going to collide with him. He has to sort of move to try and get out of his way, so he's completely obstructed Kane while not getting on touch of any of the ball. So I don't know why they're complaining so hard. I think it's does he sort of add a bit of theatrics? Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that to me that's a penalty.
I thought it was a penalty straight away, man. I said to Tobs, like, is this a penalty? Because I'm seeing on Twitter that this diving cheat. Oh my god! Obviously, from Arsenal fans, I can't believe that this is never a penalty. Blah blah. So I was like, let me speak to Toby because I think that's a penalty. And I said to him on the voice, and I was like, is this a penalty? And he was like, yeah, it is. And then I spoke to a couple of people I know on Twitter that were going mad about it, and I said, have you seen it again? And they're like, yeah, maybe it was a penalty. Do you know what I mean? It's all because it's in the action and it's in the moment. They can't take it. They hate the fact that it's 1-0 to Tottenham. I thought it was a penalty straight away, man. I don't know what Pickford's doing. So
yeah, Pickford is a joke. And to those Everton fans that I was saying, oh, I felt like the win was coming. They had 0.0% XG in the second half. Like before that penalty, we were knocking on the door. Like Harry Kane had a volley straight that Pickford saved. Like we were getting closer and closer.
Kane played really well. Kane was good.
Kane played well, yeah. Closer and closer and closer to scoring. The goal was coming. The goal was coming. Everyone could feel it in the ground. The goal was coming. They had nothing. They had nothing up top. Neil Maupay was dealt with. Rondon was dealt with. Damari Gray in second half dealt with. McNeil dealt with. So I don't really understand where this threat was coming from. Okay, Pickford has made our job easier with a dumb save, yeah. But when you look at what we did over the course of the game, we did what we needed to do to win. We created enough situations for us to get us 3 points, and we limited. I mean, they were sitting deep anyway, so it's not like they were attacking
very
much.
deep. It looks like, yeah,
they weren't attacking much, but we did what we needed to do defensively. So
they were scarred from the last game at White Hart Lane where they was like played a highlight, destroyed. Yeah.
I still feel the only player that I look in that team is still Onana. I still feel like he's too good to be in that team. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like
he's lacking. He's lacking serious technical quality. So don't be so sure that he's too good to be in that team. Because yes.
He looks like the only person that will try something though in the games. That
No, but he's not a bad player. Like I think his PMP is insane. Absolutely,
it is very insane. Yeah,
and he has made a positive impact for Everton. He's definitely made them a bit more steely, but his lack of technical quality is problematic because when he receives the ball at times. He looks higgy when he gets into the final third. He doesn't really make the right decision with the ball. I know he's young; it's gonna improve, but I'm just assessing what I can see right now. He's got some shit to work on. He has. And my last point on the Harry Kane thing as well. It's actually pathetic now. Like I'm not even one of these people who defends like Harry Kane with the theatrics. I know Harry Kane. But I know Harry Kane is quite theatrical. I know Harry Kane sometimes does what he needs to do, the dark arts as they call it. But what I don't understand is why opposition fans will give Harry Kane all this energy and they won't give the same energy to their own players who do the same damn thing. Jamie Vardy has been doing this shit for years. Nobody says a word about Jamie Vardy. Arsenal fans who constantly talk about, oh, Harry Kane, he's a diving this, he's diving that. Nketiah dived against us in the North London derby last year. They didn't say a word. Jesus dived in the Premier League this season. They ain't said a word. Martinelli's dived. They ain't said a word. Guendouzi, that fucking rat, dive cheat, pull people down all the time. They don't say a word. I'm sick and tired of the
inconsistent energy. Sanchez was the worst one. I'm
sick and tired of the inconsistent energy because if you ask me, do Son and Kane sometimes try and buy fouls and stuff off the referee? I'll tell you yes. And I've even had arguments with my mates that are Spurs fans by saying, oh, you're pandering. I'm not pandering. I'm just calling it as I see it. But opposition fans won't call it as they see it for their own players. But when it's Harry Kane, he's the worst cheater ever for doing something that pretty much every other footballer does. It's embarrassing, bro.
I was going to segue on to. I don't disagree with anything you said, by the way. I think it's coming. It's one of those things where we saw Maddison fail like massively there over the weekend. The last few dying seconds of the game, Maddison tries to win a penalty and gets booked. And for me, it's been in the game for years now. It's been over a decade since I've seen people going down quite easily under minimal contact. But if the rules are going to allow it to run and they're going to get penalties for it, then of course they're going to do it. So if anything, it's just the rules are going to have to tighten up that, you know, if the contact's not severe, then you're not getting the penalty, and that's what it's going to have to be.
The thing is with the Kane one, like Lawless said, it is absolutely a penalty. You have to be genuinely. You either have to be so anti-Spurs or a moron to think that's not a penalty. I'm being dead serious. You either have to be anti-Spurs, which a lot of people are, or just a moron to think that that's not a penalty. Either that, or the third option is you're blind, because there's no way on earth. There is absolutely no way on earth you can watch that and tell me that's not a penalty. How can a player just a goalkeeper can just attack someone's thigh and bring him down, and you're telling me that's not a foul?
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to disagree. I thought even this weekend there could have been more penalties. Even at Old Trafford, I thought Callum Wilson deserved the penalty for what Varane did as well. So
100%.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I agree. I was going to ask you as well before we segue to Arsenal is that it's very hard for me to pinpoint where this Spurs team could need more improvement. Like obvious improvement, like say, because in January you guys last season you strengthened, and that was the reason why you finished top four. And I'm thinking that this season could be a similar situation where top four could be so tight. Say it's between Chelsea and Tottenham, or Liverpool and I don't know, maybe all three clubs are really neck and neck. Is there anything that you want to see in January to kick on this team again? Because I know you didn't get maybe everything you wanted in the summer. Is those positions still the case, or has anything changed for you?
Yeah, no, there are a centre back. I would love a top centre back to come in January. I don't know how realistic that is. I think a creative midfielder, I would love that as well. Either a creative midfielder or a capable option to replace Kulusevski in the team when he's not available. Like those are two positions I would fill. I would love to see a new right wing back, but
another one to make it 4.
No, I would want to get rid of the 2.
Oh, right. Okay. I get you.
That's not going to happen. You're asking me what I would
Yeah. I hear you.
For me, I think the most realistic will probably be a midfielder or a Kulusevski attacker. And if you're going to do that, make it a good one.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. If we talk about the team needing some sort of injection of creativity or something, just a little another dimension to it, because it does sometimes look a bit not flat, but it looks heavily reliant on Kane playing at his very, very best. Otherwise, it could become a little bit sticky, I think. Because Kulusevski is still young. I think people forget. I know he came into the league last year and he ripped it up, but Kulusevski is still young. So if he's inconsistent, I wouldn't be shocked. So yeah, I think you could do with some creativity. Whether Conte wants that or not, I don't know. Potts, bro, you man just scathed it as well at the weekend. I don't know how the hell you managed that. I'm pretty annoyed with Bamford, but he just come back from injury, so I'm going to allow him as a Cobham graduate for not putting you man to the sword. How are you feeling from that one?
Lucky, man.
Champions win.
If that's gonna, I tell you, if we want to be champions, you can't be playing like that. I'll tell you that now. I actually thought we started the game pretty poorly. A lot of people were saying that it weren't. I actually thought we did. I didn't think that we were the ones on Leeds. I thought Leeds were on us at every single ball. I actually quite like the way they're playing this season. Obviously, they give you a hard game. And I think in their 4 home games, they've done quite well from what someone was telling me yesterday, which I was surprised about. The actual work rate of the team has been good. And since Bielsa's left, I think Jesse March has lost some players like Calvin Phillips and Rafinha, but he's actually got them drilled, and they're working very, very hard. Fortunately for us, they can't finish, mate. If they did have a striker, my God, that could have been 4 or 5-1. Not even joking. Thought it was poor. Thought Jesus was really off the ball. Doesn't look fit to me. I think there was rumours about a concussion from the Liverpool game, and surprised to see him play, if I'm honest, if that was the case. But he looked off the mark. I think Martinelli was running into trouble. We saw glimpses. Apart from the goal, which was a hell of a goal, by the way, from Saka. Big up Saka. What a player.
I read a
Oh,
statistic
jeez.
that Saka, out of the 10 goals and assists he's got this season, 9 have come when you guys were level or trailing. So like decisive
man.
goals. The guy is not
Big
stat
game
padded
player,
at all.
man. Big game
Yeah.
player, and he's scoring goals in big games. He's taking penalties in big games. He's a lot of pressure on his head, man. And I think we forget how young he is sometimes. He's been so typically good for 3 seasons now that people just think, yeah,
What is he,
Saka's a good player.
21?
Actually, he's 21. 21-year-old doing that. It's fantastic, man. And Ødegaard, I'm sorry, man. I'm asking questions about this guy again, man. I know a lot of people like him, technically very, very gifted, but I can't see enough drive for me. I can't see enough instrumental play from midfield. I don't see, although he got an assist, I think we're turning into the Mesut Ozil territory now. Oh, he assisted. What else did he do? Like he put a ball too far in front of Saka, and he had to make it hard for Saka to make the goal even better. And now people think he had a good game. He got hooked again, captain substitute, man. Like this guy's got subbed now 3 games in a row. This guy's been ineffective against Spurs, ineffective against Liverpool, terrible against. Oh, we had to play him against a Norway team apparently. He was awful. He got subbed again, and then he got subbed again. Like, what? When are we going to start questioning him, man? So he's been poor for me.
What about Vieira? Can Vieira not come in for him, or is it because he's captain that he's not going to come out of the team?
I've not been 100% convinced with Vieira, man. Like, I can't lie. Like, he's very lightweight. People seem to be raving about this guy. I don't see quality, if I'm honest. I see glimpses again. It's always about glimpses with these players sometimes. And I've seen glimpses of quality, like the goal against Brentford. I thought he played really well against, was it? Oh, it's Bodo and Glimt, funny enough, on the home game. Played really well. That's great. But, they're not a great opposition. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we can get too excited about him just yet. But at the same time, Ødegaard there's questions over his form, in my opinion. And you're not allowed to slate him. Be like what Lawless said. You're not allowed to slate Ødegaard. He's our captain. He's our leader. He's our wonder boy. He's the unbelievable 15-year-old from Real Madrid. You can't question him, man. He's too good for Arsenal. So I don't quite get it. I think he needs calling out. And defensively, wow. I mean, I gave Ramsdale an 8 out of 10 because he was by far man of the match. I don't think I could add the rest of them up and even get an 8 out of 10 between all of them.
People were telling me that Gabriel had a good game.
Well, I mean, okay, so you're looking at the back 4 right now. He was the best defender of our back 4.
Yeah.
Didn't have a good game, but that's what they mean. That's how poor. Saliba was poor. I thought Ben White was poor. He got hooked. I think Ben White got hooked. Am I right? Yeah, he got hooked. He got subbed.
Yeah,
I thought that Tomiyasu was 4 out of 10.
Back in the world at his age, by the way. Was that?
Who is?
Was that
Oh, here we go.
What was up with that handball as well? That was madness.
That was poor, man. That was poor. So avoidable.
That was so moronic. What the hell was he thinking there?
He's trying to catch it.
He had a brain fart.
It was a brain fart. It was a brain fart, man. He was poor. He had a really good first 5-10 minutes, and I thought, here we go. This is what we need. Somebody like this at the back. And it went to pot, and I think everybody around him didn't help him. Party, great on the ball, gives it away. Keeps it calm, gives it away. How many times? I mean, and Ben White, I mean, I know he was on loan at Leeds, but did he think he was still playing for him? I mean, I see him pass more to white shirts. Jesus Christ, man. Like, he was so bad, bro. So I've seen some poor performances out there yesterday, and we have to walk away with 3 points on top of the league, and then Liverpool do us a favor, and we're happy, man. So everyone's salty about it. Everyone hates it. People need to stay off Twitter, like Lawless and Tobs. You know what I mean? Like, I've told them, stay off Twitter. Don't get involved. But they will. They'll get involved. It's like their drug. They absolutely love bantering with Arsenal fans because they'll be keeping that ammo, man. Listen, in all seriousness, I said that I was worried. Well, listen, I said I was worried, didn't I, about our squad depth? I said to Turkish when I did the watch along with him yesterday, I said, who do you bring on, bro? And he went, Tierney. Don't know who else. I said, there we go. We have got nothing on that bench at all that can come on and do anything. People will, say that Marquinhos and Vieira and Eddie Nketiah can come on and change games. They are all downgrades to what we've already got out there. So I've been saying that this side is absolutely great at the moment in terms of its first 11. But the squad depth is not there, man. And it's going to affect us. So at the moment, we can't complain. And people will have a go at me again, say I'm negative. Go for it. I don't care. If you want to say I'm negative, go for it. But this squad is not strong enough. I'm telling you, it is not.
I said it on DR. I think your board should be looking at that January transfer window and what you've done up until this point and saying we are going to back this team Not even talking about the manager. I'm talking about back this team to the hills with reinforcements, like just a whole spine. I think you could do with another centre mid because if there's an injury there, I think you could do
100.
another. I think you could do with a top experienced centre back, the level of centre back that I'm sure Toby wants at his club. I think you guys could do with it as well, just in case for Gabriel, and even just
they don't need another centre back. They're well stocked defensively. I think it's the midfield and attack that they need reinforcements in.
But they're only one injury away at centre back to having to reshuffle White and move everything all around again.
I think you've got a point.
Then you do that though, because White can play centre back, and they got Tommy.
Would you not rather keep White at right back the way he's playing at the moment?
No, you have him as an option at right back, but he's predominantly a centre back.
But don't you think they're lacking? Don't you think they're lacking some like an experienced head in that centre defence? Do you know?
I just think they need midfielders and attackers. I don't.
They have been conceding quite a few chances. It's not like as if they're completely impenetrable.
Yeah, but that's not.
We haven't kept a clean sheet at home.
That's not solely down to the defense, though. Like if they're conceding chances, it's because the midfield aren't doing their job. The attack's not doing the job as well. They're a team that press from the front. So to Potter's point, they play Leeds. Leeds are one of the most energetic sides in the league, and they play a really, really suffocating and organized press under Jesse Marsh. So you need to have maximum energy when you're playing up against a side like Leeds at their ground. And when they're pressing you, you got to have the composure to play through the press, and you got to match them on energy levels. And to Potter's point, when you look at their team, you had a couple of players who played against Bodo on Thursday, then they play on Sunday, and then now they're going to play on Thursday or Wednesday again, then they're going to play on Sunday. The point is, there's going to be many more games like Leeds away this season, and where they're not able to stretch their squad as thin as they need to, they're going to have a shortage there where players who normally could beat the press against Leeds are tired. They can't beat the press. They're 2-3 seconds slower than they normally are, and that's the difference between 1 point, 3 points, or 0 points.
You know, listen, we got the 3 points, man, and we move on. But it was poor in parts, man, really poor. And big up Rodrigo, by the way, a great pre-assist to Saka's goal. What the hell was he doing, man? Oh my god, that was unbelievable. Bamford did his best to give us 3 points. Gabriel did his best to give Leeds something. And I feel personally like there's question marks over him now as well. I've been sticking up for him, to be honest. I have been, because I feel like he's defensively, I think he's great. I think he's pretty much flawless in most of the stuff that he does. Other than that, he has a moment in most games where you think, ouch. And that for me was a mad one. You can't do that. Even if it was a foul beforehand, he's lucky it is, by the way. He has gone out there and he's lost his head and he's kicked out. For me, it's a mad thing to do when you've got like no time left on the clock. You've already had a game which is, let's be honest, start to finish, been 3 hours long due to delays and injury time and all the stuff that happened in the game. I sit there and think, wow, what are you doing? But it's 1-0 to the Arsenal, man. I'll take it. We're top of the league, and thanks to Liverpool with 4 points clear. So let's end on that positive. And just to your point, Matisse, where I agree with you, we might not need another centre-half, right? But I tell you who thinks we do. Mikel Arteta. Because every single game on Sunday and Thursday, Gabriel plays at left centre-back. Why is that? Because we ain't got another left-footed centre-back, mate.
You don't.
Why does Xhaka play every single game? Because we ain't got another left-footed CM. Yeah. So Xhaka and Gabriel and Martinelli are playing every single game. Now, Nelson played the other night. Oh, my God, he was poor, by the way. He played the other night.
He's still there. Bloody hell.
Exactly. He got injured, unfortunately. Before we tried to sell him, but he got injured, so we stuck with him. But for me, man, there's some serious depth issues. And at the moment, I can't knock out we're playing in terms of 9 wins out of 10. Fantastic. Everyone says, judge Arsenal after 10 games. Well, we're top of the league and we're 4 points clear. So let us know when you want to take us seriously. I mean, please don't, because when you do take us seriously, we'll mess it up. But,
I'm going to ask you then before we wrap up, are you taking Arsenal seriously? Because I'm looking at your fixtures. You've got Nottingham Forest, you've got Wolves, you've got Chelsea, you've got Brighton, Southampton, winnable games. Obviously at the Bridge, I hope we would stop this nonsense from continuing. But how seriously are you taking Arsenal? Are you waiting until they get to the World Cup to see where they are? How long before you say they're in a title race?
I think we have to get like every other team, and you have to get towards February, March time. And if we're still where we are, we can start to take us seriously. I think like every other season, it's a World Cup year, so you don't actually know what's going on this season. Every other year, you'd probably say, And nobody's in a title race until, I mean, seriously, everyone's in a title race at the moment, if you look at it mathematically. But if you're talking about who the serious big hitters are at the moment, Arsenal will be one of them. When you get to February, March time, and Arsenal are sitting 4 points clear, I think everybody will take them seriously and say they're title challengers 100%. I think at the moment, Matisse, if you was to say to me, right, Potts, this 11 players, they're going to keep fit, man. You're going to play them every single league game if you want. I'd say fair play. I think we can keep up with what we're doing because what I've seen is enough evidence to suggest that we can beat bigger teams. We can go in there and be composed in away games. We can win ugly. We can win beautifully. Why can't we? But that first 11 is not going to stay fit throughout the whole of that season. And the drop-off from Partey to Lokonga and Jesus to Eddie and Marquinhos to Saka is just too much for me, man. So I think we need to be realistic, man. Let's not get carried away. Some Arsenal fans are, and I was only tongue-in-cheek with Lawless and Tobs because I know it winds them up. And I know I've dealt with these Arsenal fans, man, for most of the time. You've got to be real about where we are at the moment. Nobody expected this. Nobody on this panel can tell me 10 games in that Arsenal be 4 points clear at the top. I would have told you myself you'd be buzzing. So we have to credit us, man. The way we've been playing is great. We're winning ugly. We're winning beautifully. We're playing some of the best football in the league. But can it be sustainable? I really hope so. But I have my doubts due to squad depth, man.
I think it all depends on January. I think it's important to remember, I think depth, January is a big opportunity for Arsenal and the board to step up their game and see if they can sustain this. But we're just over a quarter of the season, 10 games, it's 38 games to play. So there's 38 games in total. So let's see what happens. But we're going to wrap up, Lawless. Let them know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure. Obviously, I don't know how many points you are behind the infamous Manchester United because I know you were counting and documenting and calculating that before last show. But yeah, it's you're still pushing, man. Come on, I want to see you in that top 7 soon.
Well, a few things have to change, but we will see. We will see, mate. We've got Old Trafford coming up soon, so that could be a big game. But yeah, so you can find me obviously at the Lawless. Come back me against some of these real deluded West Ham people. See, I'm real. I'm realistic. This is why I told you all I'm a realistic West Ham fan here. I'm not a happy clapper. I'm backing me against the happy clappers at the Lawless on Twitter and West Ham Fan TV. Check out, I've just uploaded on Dan, Damo and Jace, my other channel, the highlights of the Liverpool versus Man City watch along. We had a forfeit on the line. Some of us were Man City, some of us were Liverpool. It was pure chaos and carnage. So check that, and I'll be on DR Sports for the Liverpool West Ham watch along Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. And post the channel tomorrow. I'm busy. I'm everywhere.
Busy is everywhere. There you go, guys. We'll make sure you subscribe. Links in the description. Toby, bro, let them know where to find you. Pleasure as always, bro.
Tapping Tobs on all socials. Don't wear it out. Yeah, come follow me. Hopefully we beat Man United this week. I'll be going to that game. So yeah, hoping for 3 points.
There you go. Big away trip there.
Oh, this Man United Spurs, man, that's conflicting for me. That's conflicting because
why is that? Because you.
I don't want Spurs to win, but I need Man United to slow down because
they did slow down this weekend for you guys, and you just didn't capitalize.
Yeah, so they should have had a penalty.
but so should Newcastle, to be fair, as well. So yeah. Potts, bro, let them know where to find you, bro. Pleasure as always. At Dan Arsenal 87 on socials. If you can head over to my new channel at Football's 12th Man Podcast. You've got Tobs and Lawless on there quite a bit with myself. We've got a show tomorrow, and I'm about 200 away from 6K people. So come help me, man. I'd love that if you could. Cheers, guys. There you go. Guys, make sure you get that done, man. Link in the description. For me, just smash up the like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys. Obviously, Brentford preview, and obviously loads of games midweeks happening. So yeah, there's just more carnage on the way. And yeah, until next time, big up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace.